We're going back to the future.
To be continued.
I said, goddamn!
Actually, you know what we didn't do? We should have done that in the first. That was a good one though. I liked it. We should have had the end of the first one to be continued because we were going to do. Anyway, Back to the Future Part 2, which I like that they said Back to the Future Part 2 and not just Back to the Future 2. Part 2 sounds like a Robert Zemeckis thing to do. So, Back to the Future Part 2, they go to October, is it 15th, 2015? I don't know, something like that. It's in October 2015 because Marty's kids are a wreck. And imagine being a 17-year-old kid and your friend Doc coming back. He's like, "It's your kids, Marty. Something's gotta be done about your kids." You're like, maybe I don't want fucking kids. Like, oh my god. And so they you know, the movie takes place in 2015, which is 30 years from 85.
So weird.
It is weird. Where are goddamn flying cars? Where are like Nike lace-ups?
It's almost a depressing movie if you watch it.
Yeah. The thing about Back to the Future Part 2, I loved it. I think it was cool. I don't love it as much as the first one. The first one's a 10 for me. This is more like a 9. The reason why is I think that what they did with the second one, it is the darker of the 3 for sure. It's like an Empire Strikes Back, which I'm fine with that, but it's also, it's kind of hokey for some reason. It feels like they added so much more money to it and there was so much more special effects that it kind of got lost in that at some point. The relationship is still strong with Marty and Doc, and which is the center. That friendship is always going to be the center of the movie, which I think. But you go back, he goes into the future, and in this one, it's like basically Marty's fucked his life up because he raced Needles, which I know somebody in real life named Needles, or it's a nickname, and
that's what we call him.
She. Anyway, we call her that. Anyway, but you know, he races a guy named Needles and fucks his hands up. He doesn't become a rock and roll god that he thought he was going to become. And he kind of settles for a mundane job doing whatever he hates.
It's sad as fuck, man.
It's sad. And then Marty's seeing all this, and he's thinking it was going to be great. He's like, oh, I live in Hill Valley. Oh, my God, I live in Hill Valley. And Hill Valley is like the ghetto now in 2015. It's a bad place to live. Doc is not trying to let Marty see this, but Marty sees it anyway. So Biff gets wind of this. Biff finds out about the time machine, and Biff steals the DeLorean when they come back to 85, goes back to the past, tells young Biff what's going on. Oh my God, I went cross-eyed. Tells young Biff what's going on and creates a parallel universe, a crazy 1985 where Biff is like the master and destroyer of like the Hill Valley or whatever, and it's like it's like Vegas.
It's a sports almanac.
It's a sport.
It's all about that.
Never be betting. Never be betting.
It's all about that beautiful goddamn magazine.
Gambling is bad.
Best thing about this movie, the absolute best thing about this movie is the fact that they go to 2015. It's so cool to watch this movie. And in that time, imagine what the future will be like, and now compare it to the future. Mm-hmm. But when he's walking over there and it's like Jaws 19, and that hologram comes out by him, that's so fucking cool. The hoverboard is so fucking amazing.
Who doesn't want one of those?
Like that's so perfectly done. Like the fact that he was a skateboarder and stuff like that, but now they have hoverboards. That whole scene is just, it's so original. You won't get movies like this nowadays. They don't fucking happen. It's so cool.
I would have taken the hoverboard. I would have taken the Barbie hoverboard.
The lace-up Nikes?
That's
what I forgot to mention about that first movie, dude. Fucking Michael J. Fox's Nike game is on point. He's got them Nikes fucking down.
He's done.
I like his Nike game.
He's Corey Haiming it.
I love it.
Is it Corey Haim?
What?
Because Corey Haim looked like an 80s guy too. But
I love the futuristic stuff. I love that they have they're like, he's in an 80s cafe, you know, one of those badly done things that's not on point at all, and he goes in there, and it's cool to imagine, it's so amazing to imagine how they thought the future would be and compare it to how the future actually is, the flying cars, all that shit like that. That's what makes this movie timeless in itself.
They do get some things right, though. When he goes and sees an old school arcade, and it's like, the gun thing, and the kids are like, you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's game.
I have this on my phone.
That's kind of weird, though. Yeah, it's on your phone, and then also with the Oculus Rift now, it's like goddamn, Robert Zemeckis was fucking Nostradamus.
And he had a flat screen.
Yeah, he had
the flat screen. That was like dead on.
And not just a flat screen; they had multiple channels.
He had lots of pip.
Lots of pip.
Lots of pip.
What's the matter, McFly? Chicken? Nobody calls me chicken.
They overdid that a little bit, but it was also a great characterization of Marty McFly's character. He's such a cool guy.
I think it was cool that Michael J. Fox, though. In the future, the grandson of Biff is Griff.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Griff, I just got one question. What the hell is that? And he catches his hand. He's like,
it always works.
That didn't work, though. Not this time.
Yeah.
But it's still a cool movie. It's no doubt a cool movie. But at the same time, it is a little bit more hokey-ish than the first one. Go the fuck outside, cat.
It's a little bit more hokey-ish, but at the same time, also, it's fun. The futuristic stuff and the corniness is fun. Some of it's bad. Like, why does Griff have a fucking metal helmet? Stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that's dumb. But at the same time, I love the sports almanac thing. when I was a kid and I watched this movie, I don't know why, but when I was into collecting comic books and stuff, I wanted that so bad. I was like, it's shiny. I like the way it looks. I love what they did with the Sports Almanac. That was such a cool tie into the future. My only problem with this movie, and really my absolute only problem, it's a big problem, but it's my only problem, is that watching these back-to-back, you would think it'd be fun to watch them back-to-back because they kind of run continuously, a la Halloween, Halloween 2. But the problem with me is that they rehash so much of the original. Like, they go through so many of the same steps. They go back to the dance. They go back to here. They go back there. It's so much of the stuff from the first movie that watching them back to back, it's like, I don't know. I just don't want to see all the same stuff happen again.
Well, I didn't mind that too much. I thought that was pretty cool how they showed the in-between scenes. Like when Marty sees himself in 1955, when he goes back to 1955, and he can't let himself see each other because it would cause some kind of, crazy...
Oh, but plot holes galore. Oh, my God. But
like,
any time travel movie's going to have that.
But it was cool to see that. And then when the doc gets, the electricity... Because it was cool as fuck because, Marty takes back the paper, and when they change things, and it's like, Doc Brown honored rather than Doc Brown, put to the asylum, and George McFly, treasured writer. And he's like, cat! He's like, it worked, Doc, and Doc's talking to him. Cat! Hey!
No!
There you go. That's how Mike yells.
Go ahead.
But it's cool to see how the paper changes, and then Doc's talking to Marty on the radio while the DeLorean's flying, and then he gets struck by lightning, and he's like, the Doc is gone! And then he gets a letter right after that. It's like from 1887.
It's so cool how that
I love that shit. He's like, the Doc's alive! He's in the bath, but he's alive!
Spielbergish summer action movie type scene there. The way that it felt so special and sci-fi and weird.
But it was cool.
I love that.
It wasn't just at the very end of the scene when he runs back and gets the young Doc after he just sent Marty McFly back to the future. And then he's like running up and he's like, I just sent you back. I was like, yeah, you did send me back, but I'm back. I'm back from the future. It's like, great Scott. And then he passes out. It's like, it's cool as fuck. I do love that scene.
Also, though, kind of a rough ending, though. It was kind of a rough ending. Well, it happens and it's like, up next, Back to the Future 3. It was kind of like a TV
TNT
show
special.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's a really great movie. If it's a standalone movie, it'd be a fucking amazing movie. But again, some of the stuff was a little bit forced. It was a little bit too much like the first one. Ultimately, the first one I give a 10. I give it an 8.5 to this one. It's still an enjoyable ass movie. I love the looks into the future. I love the hoverboard stuff. It's so cool the way that they did so much of that stuff. But again, I wouldn't change the movie, but again, part of me does kind of wish that they would just have veered into a different course a little bit and not gone back to the first movie so much. Still an 8.5, an amazing, one of the best sequels of all time.
I'm going to give it a 9.0. There's no doubt that this one is a cool sequel to the first one. Again, the hokiness of it, like you mentioned, like watching it back to back, it kind of detracts a little bit. I don't know why it is like that, but it's just for me. Some people love Back to the Future Part 2 better than the Back to the Future original, and I get that because they do introduce so many cool different items into it, and how Marty McFly interacts with these, like with the 1985 hellish parallel universe, and then going back and having this like in-between stuff that was going on between Back to the Future. That's cool as fuck to see, and I like it, but at the same time, I just don't feel it holds up as strong as the first one. It's still a great movie overall. The soundtrack is still amazing. The characterizations that we all love and enjoy between Brown and McFly is still there. So, yeah, 9.0, I think it's a solid fucking score. I mean,
yeah! Yeah! We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in ya! This is on Netflix right now.
Goddamn, Big Boss Man.
All the Back to the Future's on Netflix right now. You better watch them shits. We love your faces.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.